advice or counsel would you give a worship leader that leads in a church that doesn't have the same parameters or embracing of the kind of worship that goes on here?
Right. You just now, by parameters, are you talking about like musical expression? Styles the same?
Yeah, parameters of time.
Time, okay, time. What about response?
A little bit of that too.
Is there any restriction on the response? You know, what is somewhat subdued?
Little, yeah.
Okay, all right. Yeah, you always want to work in whatever slot you're given. I mean, there are some people, I used to lead worship a lot. I used to do worship conferences and seminars and stuff. And there were times where I was given 20 minutes, and that was the worship slot. You just carefully select something that will take people into the presence. That's just what you do. And you don't be preachy. In fact, worship leaders, stop trying to preach. Just stop. Don't be preachy, but you may be able to add a comment that accelerates something. And so I would lead, and I would look for that statement or the comment that would really accelerate faith. Because all worship has to come out of two things. All worship has to come out of faith and has to come out of compassion and love for people. The Lord showed me years ago that if I can get these two things going in a meeting before the meeting ever starts, the meeting will be powerful. All right, let me explain this one because I'm not convinced you heard me. You gotta hear me. Years ago, I was in Weaverville pastoring, and we had a Sunday morning. It was an okay service. It was so-so, and people said it was good, but I knew they were lying to me. So I went home that afternoon, I laid on the bed, I said, God, you were going east, and I was going west. And I didn't like it. And I don't ever want that to happen again. In other words, I was saying, God, I know you were doing something. I missed it. I don't know what I was doing, but I missed it. And I began to read. I was laying on the bed there, just really bummed about the day. And I began to read out of Matthew, and he said, go learn what this means. I desire compassion above sacrifice. And as soon as I read it, I didn't know what he was telling me, but I knew that was my word. And so I said, all right, I don't know what you're saying, but I got the verse. I desire compassion above sacrifice. So there was a meeting that afternoon with some folks from the church, and I walked into the room, and this place, you got to understand, Sunday morning was dead. I mean, as far as I was concerned, we should have just buried it, covered it with about 6 feet of dirt, buried it, put a tombstone over it, and said, this is dead and it's gone. A few hours later, I go into our offices where we have a whole bunch of people from the church, and we're having this rehearsal. And I walk in, and the place is alive. It's vibrant. People are happy. They're just glad to be together. They're talking about what God's doing. They're hugging each other. They're praying. I walked in. My first thought was, where were you people this morning at church? I mean, where was all of this happiness this morning? It was depressing. I was depressed being in there. And then the verse came to mind. Go learn what this means. I desire compassion above sacrifice. And what we had done is that morning is we were able to lift up a sacrifice of praise to the Lord, but it was not in the context of love for people. And when I walked into that room, I saw all these people hugging each other, loving to be together, praying for each other, doing this stuff, and I realized, oh, so I've got to get people connected together before we worship whenever we start on a given Sunday. That's why, have you ever seen a worship meeting where people are scattered all over the room and there's 5-10 feet in between each person? What kind of a worship meeting was it? Pretty stinky. Why? Because the offering to the Lord in thanksgiving and praise is not acceptable if there's not compassion for people. That's really a big deal. And the other thing is faith. And so I always try to stir up faith in people. I'll just try to make a comment, a testimony, something real brief, simple, and just kind of throw that out there. stroke that faith. Because if I can get faith moving and I can get compassion, love for people in the beginning stages, then I know we can go somewhere. So I always try to take care of that. And then just fill whatever time you have, just do it as much as you can until they give you increased parameters.